Pick one sister human, the other will be executed now. My life's most impossible choice. The ancient fortress reeked of alien mold and stale air. Commander Alex Mercer crept through its winding corridors, his combat boots barely making a sound against the stone floor. Sweat trickled down his neck, dampening the collar of his military green t-shirt that clung to his muscular frame. "Diplomatic mission, my ass," he muttered, checking the energy reading on his wrist scanner. The alien regime that controlled this backwater planet had invited an Earth delegation under the pretense of peace talks. But Alex knew better. It was a trap. His team had been separated, communications jammed, and now he was navigating this labyrinthine structure alone. A soft sound, barely perceptible, made him freeze. His hand instinctively moved to the pulse pistol at his hip. Years of special forces training had honed his senses to detect the slightest disturbance. There it was again, a whisper, followed by a hushed reprimand. "Whoever's there," Alex called out, his deep voice echoing off the ancient walls. "I'm not looking for trouble." Silence. Then a figure stepped out from behind a crumbling column, a female alien with skin the color of emeralds. Her striking green eyes regarded him warily, long verdant hair cascading over her shoulders. She wore a simple white top and shorts that seemed wildly inappropriate for this environment. "You're human," she said, her voice melodic despite the tension. "What are you doing in the forbidden sectors?" Before Alex could answer, another figure emerged, younger, with soft blue skin and silver blue curls that framed a delicate face. Her sky blue eyes widened at the sight of him. "Nari, we can't trust him," the blue one whispered to her green-skinned companion. "I don't think we have much choice, Lorena," the one called Nari replied. She turned to Alex. "The guards will be making their rounds soon. If they find you here, they'll kill me," Alex finished. "Yeah, I got that impression when they started shooting at my team. Question is, what are you two doing here?" Nari's posture stiffened. "Our father was General Krell. Does that name mean anything to you, human?" Alex's blood ran cold. General Krell, the legendary resistance leader who'd nearly toppled the regime before being publicly executed 3 cycles ago. "Your father was a hero among my people." "And a traitor to ours, according to the High Command," Lorena said bitterly. "We've been living in hiding since his execution, but now they found our sanctuary. We were trying to reach the old transport bay when we heard you." Alex assessed the situation quickly. 2 civilian aliens, daughters of a resistance hero, trapped in a hostile fortress. His mission parameters didn't cover this, but his conscience did. "I know a way out," he said. "I memorized the layout before infiltration, but we need to move fast." Nari and Lorena exchanged glances, a silent communication passing between them. "Why would you help us?" Nari asked, suspicion evident in her emerald eyes. Alex shrugged his broad shoulders. "Let's just say I'm not a fan of your current government. Plus, leaving civilians in danger isn't my style." A distant sound of armored footsteps echoed through the corridor. Lorena tensed, her blue skin paling slightly. "Patrol," she whispered. "Decision time, ladies," Alex said, his voice calm despite the danger. "Trust me or take your chances alone." Nari nodded. "Lead the way, human." "Alex," he corrected, checking his weapon. "Commander Alex Mercer." They moved swiftly through the shadowy corridors, Alex taking point with the sisters following close behind. The fortress was a maze of ancient technology and newer security measures, a blend of the regime's brutal efficiency and the planet's mysterious past. "How did you end up here?" Lorena asked as they paused at an intersection, her voice barely above a whisper. "Official story?" "Diplomatic envoy," Alex replied, checking around the corner. "Unofficial? Intelligence gathering. Your regime's been making threatening moves toward our outer colonies." "They're not our regime," Nari hissed. "Our father died fighting them." Alex nodded. "Fair enough." They continued in silence until reaching a massive chamber filled with deactivated machinery. Alex consulted his wrist device. "Transport bay should be through that door," he said, pointing to a heavy metal portal across the chamber. As they crossed the open space, alarm klaxons suddenly blared to life. Red emergency lights bathed the chamber in a bloody glow. "They've discovered the breach!" Lorena cried. The door at the far end of the chamber slid open, revealing 3 armored guards. Their black exoskeletons gleamed menacingly under the emergency lights, blue energy spears crackling with power. "Intruders!" the lead guard shouted. Halt or be terminated. Alex pushed the sisters behind a massive piece of machinery. Stay down, he ordered, drawing his pulse pistol. The guards advanced, their spears illuminating the darkness with an eerie blue glow. Alex fired 2 quick shots, forcing them to take cover. We're trapped, Nari said, her green eyes wide with fear. Not yet, we're not, Alex replied, assessing their options. When I give the signal, run for that maintenance hatch. He pointed to a small opening near the floor on the opposite wall. The guards were coordinating their approach, preparing to flank their position. Alex knew they were running out of time. Now, he shouted, laying down covering fire as the sisters sprinted across the chamber. One guard broke from cover, charging directly at Alex with his spear raised. Alex rolled to the side, but the guard was faster than expected. The energy spear grazed his arm, burning through the fabric of his shirt and searing the skin beneath. Alex grunted in pain but managed to bring his weapon up. The pulse pistol discharged, catching the guard square in the chest. The alien warrior convulsed as energy coursed through his armor, then collapsed to the ground, motionless. Alex! Lorana called from the maintenance hatch. Hurry! He ran toward them, aware that the remaining guards were closing in. Just as he reached the hatch, a spear flew past his head, missing by inches. Go! He urged, pushing the sisters through the opening before diving in after them. They crawled through the narrow maintenance tunnel, the sounds of pursuit growing more distant. Alex's arm throbbed where the spear had burned him, but adrenaline kept him moving. That guard, Nari said as they emerged into a dimly lit corridor. You killed him. Alex checked his weapons charge. He didn't give me much choice. You don't understand, Lorana whispered, her blue eyes wide with horror. That was Commander Verne, the High Executor's personal bodyguard. Alex felt a chill that had nothing to do with his injury. I'm guessing that's bad. Nari nodded grimly. The penalty for killing an elite guard is public execution, but for killing Commander Verne, they'll make an example of all of us. The wail of alarms intensified, and the fortress seemed to come alive with activity. Their escape route to the transport bay was surely cut off now. Then we find another way out, Alex said, his jaw set with determination. I didn't come this far to give up now. Little did he know that his choice to help these sisters would soon force him to make the most impossible decision of his life. A betrayal gambit? Lorana's blue skin paled to a lighter shade. You want us to pretend to be captives? Alex pressed his back against the wall, listening to the approaching footsteps of regime soldiers. His pulse pistol was running dangerously low on charge, and the burn on his arm throbbed with increasing intensity. It's our best shot, he insisted. Nari turns us in, gains their trust, then creates a diversion while we slip away during prisoner transfer. Nari's emerald eyes narrowed thoughtfully. It could work. Father always said the regime's arrogance was their greatest weakness. She studied Alex's face, her gaze lingering on his strong jawline. But why trust me with this? I could actually turn you in. Alex met her gaze unflinchingly. You could, but you won't. Something unspoken passed between them, a current of tension that had nothing to do with their dire circumstances. Alex had noticed it from the moment they met, an undeniable pull toward both sisters that went beyond the mission, beyond reason. We need to find somewhere to rest first, Lorana suggested, her blue eyes darting nervously toward the corridor. Plan our approach properly. Alex nodded. Agreed. There's a maintenance level below us. Should be deserted this time of cycle. They moved silently through the fortress, descending through a rarely used service shaft. The maintenance level was a labyrinth of pipes and conduits, dimly lit by emergency lighting that cast long shadows across their faces. Here, Alex said, pointing to a small alcove hidden behind a cluster of thermal regulators. We can rest for a few hours. The space was cramped, forcing the three of them to sit close together. Alex felt the warmth of Nari's green skin against his right side, Lorana's cooler blue presence on his left. The contrast was intoxicating. Your arm, Lorana whispered, gently touching the burn where the energy spear had grazed him. It needs treatment. I've had worse, Alex replied, though he couldn't suppress a wince when her delicate fingers brushed against the wound. Don't be stubborn, Nari chided, reaching into a small pouch at her waist. She produced a vial of translucent gel. This will help with the pain and prevent infection. As she applied the cool substance to his burn, Alex studied her face. Up close, he could see the subtle patterns in her green skin, like delicate leaf veins beneath the surface. "Your species is fascinating," Nari murmured, her fingers lingering on his arm longer than necessary. "So different from ours, yet—" She trailed off, her emerald eyes meeting his. "Yet so compatible in many ways," Lorana finished, her voice barely audible. She was watching them with undisguised curiosity, her blue fingers tracing absent patterns on Alex's other arm. The air between them grew thick with unspoken possibilities. Alex felt his heart rate accelerate, and not from danger this time. "Your people," he asked, partly to distract himself from their proximity, "do they often form connections with other species?" Nari's lips curved into a subtle smile. "Our culture values strength and courage above all else. Those qualities transcend physical differences." "And you've shown both," Lorana added, her sky-blue eyes reflecting the dim emergency lights. "Few would risk themselves for strangers, especially alien ones." Alex cleared his throat. "It's what humans do. At our best, anyway." "Is that why Earth sends its soldiers disguised as diplomats?" Nari asked, though her tone held no accusation. "Sometimes diplomacy needs insurance," Alex replied, "but I'm here to prevent war, not start one." Lorana leaned closer, her silver-blue curls brushing against his shoulder. "Our father believed the same. That's why the regime executed him. He wanted peace." "And now they'll execute us too if they catch us," Nari said grimly. The reminder of their situation created a momentary silence, but couldn't dispel the tension building between them. In this hidden alcove, far from the politics of their worlds, they were just three beings drawn together by circumstance, and something more primal. "If we're going through with this plan," Alex said finally, "we should rest while we can. Tomorrow will be dangerous." Nari nodded, but made no move to create distance between them. Instead, she settled more comfortably against his side. "On our world, warriors often find comfort in each other before battle. It strengthens resolve, focuses the mind. A tradition dating back to our earliest days," Lorana explained, her blue hand coming to rest on Alex's chest, directly over his heart. "Does your species share similar customs?" Alex swallowed hard, acutely aware of their touch, their scent, their warmth. "We have similar traditions?" "Then perhaps," Nari suggested, her voice dropping to a husky whisper, "we should honor both our cultures tonight." The invitation hung in the air between them. Alex knew he should refuse, maintain professional distance, focus on the mission, remember his training. But in this moment, light years from Earth on an alien world where he might not see tomorrow, those reasons seemed distant and hollow. "I've never," he began. "Neither have we," Lorana admitted. "Not with a human." What followed was a night of discovery, of alien anatomies surprisingly compatible with human physiology, of cultural differences that led to moments of awkward laughter, of shared warmth in the cold shadows of the fortress. Their connection transcended the physical, becoming something neither human nor alien, but uniquely their own. As they drifted to sleep hours later, tangled together in the small alcove, Alex knew their plan had become infinitely more complicated. What had begun as a simple escape mission had evolved into something he hadn't anticipated, something that would make tomorrow's betrayal gambit far more difficult to execute. Because now the thought of placing either sister in danger made his chest tighten with a protective instinct that went far beyond duty. Dawn broke over the alien fortress, casting long shadows through the narrow maintenance shaft where Alex and the sisters prepared for their desperate gambit. The night's intimacy had left them with a newfound connection, something that transcended their biological differences and made their impending separation all the more difficult. "Remember," Alex said, checking the restraints on his wrists, "they were designed to look secure while being easily escapable. Once we're in the transfer corridor, Nari creates the distraction. Lorana and I slip away during the confusion." Nari nodded, her green fingers lingering on Alex's as she adjusted his restraints. "The guards change shifts at mid-cycle. That's our window." "What if they separate us?" Lorana asked, her blue skin almost luminous in the dim light. The worry in her sky-blue eyes made Alex's chest tighten. "Then we adapt," he replied with a confidence he didn't entirely feel. "That's what humans do best." Nari smiled at that. Last night proved humans are adaptable in many ways. Despite the danger, Alex couldn't help but return her smile. Their night together had been a revelation, not just physically but culturally. The sisters' approach to intimacy was refreshingly direct, unburdened by the taboos and hesitations that often complicated human relationships. In their culture, attraction was something to be acknowledged and celebrated, not hidden behind pretense. "It's time," Lorana said, breaking the moment. She pressed her forehead against Alex's in what he now recognized as a traditional gesture of connection among their people. Nari did the same, then stepped back, assuming the cold demeanor of a captor. "Ready, prisoner?" she asked, her voice suddenly harsh. Alex nodded, slipping into his role. "Ready?" The plan unfolded smoothly at first. Nari marched them through the less traveled corridors of the fortress, occasionally shoving them forward for the benefit of surveillance systems. When they encountered a patrol, she spun a convincing tale of finding the fugitives attempting to access restricted areas. "I'm taking them directly to Central Command," she informed the patrol leader, a hulking alien with mottled orange skin. The patrol leader studied her suspiciously. "Protocol requires immediate transfer to detention." "By whose authority?" Nari challenged, channeling the imperious tone of her father, the former general. "I am Nari, daughter of House Krell. I captured these fugitives, and I claim the right of presentation." The mention of her family name created a ripple of unease among the patrol. Even in disgrace, the Krell name carried weight. "Very well," the leader conceded reluctantly, "but we will escort you." This wasn't part of the plan. Alex exchanged a quick glance with Lorana, whose subtle nod told him to play along. They had no choice but to follow the patrol, their escape opportunity rapidly diminishing. To their horror, instead of being taken to Central Command, they were led directly to the massive central plaza of the fortress, a vast open space surrounded by towering structures where thousands of the planet's inhabitants had gathered. At the center stood an elevated platform, and upon it, a figure that made Alex's blood run cold. The High Executor himself, a tall, gaunt alien with ash-gray skin and eyes like polished obsidian. He wore elaborate ceremonial armor that gleamed under the alien sun and a cape that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "What is this?" Nari whispered, her captor facade momentarily slipping. "Public judgment," the patrol leader replied with grim satisfaction. "The High Executor has decreed that all traitors and their accomplices be made examples of. You've delivered them directly to justice, daughter of Krell." Alex felt Lorana stiffen beside him. Their simple escape plan had just become infinitely more complicated. As they were marched toward the platform, Alex surveyed the plaza, cataloging potential escape routes, weapons, anything that might give them an advantage. The crowd parted before them, alien faces displaying a mixture of curiosity and hostility. He noted with grim irony that this was the first true diplomatic contact between his species and theirs, and it was about to end in an execution. The High Executor's voice boomed across the plaza as they were forced to kneel before him. "Citizens of the Dominion, behold the enemies of order." His obsidian eyes fixed on Alex with particular interest. "A human spy caught infiltrating our most sacred fortress, and with him, the spawn of the traitor Krell." The crowd murmured, their collective voice like the buzzing of distant machinery. "For the murder of Commander Vern, blood must answer blood," the High Executor continued. He gestured toward Nari, who stood rigid beside the patrol leader. "You, daughter of Krell, you have brought these criminals to justice. For this service, you shall witness their punishment before receiving your own." Nari's emerald eyes widened. "My own? Did you think capturing them would erase your family's shame?" The High Executor's thin lips curved in a cruel smile. "No, but it does earn you the right to choose the order of execution." Two guards in black armor stepped forward, their energy spears humming with deadly power. The High Executor's gaze shifted to Alex, studying him with clinical detachment. "Fascinating," he mused. "We know so little about humans. Perhaps we should learn more before your execution." He turned to the assembled crowd. "The human and the traitor's daughters have committed a capital crime, but in my mercy, I offer a choice." The plaza fell silent, thousands of alien eyes fixed on the platform. "Pick one sister, human male," the High Executor commanded, his voice echoing across the plaza. "The other will be executed now." Alex felt as though the ground had fallen away beneath him. The impossible choice laid bare before him and the watching crowd. Nari and Lorana, both now standing rigid between the guards, their faces masks of horror. "This is barbaric," Alex growled, straining against his restraints. "I won't choose." "Then they both die," the High Executor replied simply, "and you will watch before joining them." Alex looked from Nari to Lorana, the night they'd shared flashing through his mind. The connection they'd formed, so unexpected and profound. How could he possibly choose? "I choose myself," he declared, rising to his feet despite the guards' attempts to force him down. "Take my life instead." A murmur ran through the crowd, surprise, perhaps even respect. The High Executor's expression remained impassive. "Nobility," he observed coldly. "How predictably human. But that is not one of the options." Alex met his gaze unflinchingly. "Then I refuse to choose." The High Executor raised a hand, and one of the guards pressed his energy spear against Lorana's throat. "Choose," he repeated, "or watch them both die slowly." In that moment, Alex saw something in Nari's eyes. A decision made, a sacrifice prepared. Before he could speak, she stepped forward. "He doesn't need to choose," she said, her voice carrying across the suddenly silent plaza. "I offer myself freely." "Nari, no!" Lorana cried out. But it was too late. Nari had already moved, deliberately shoving one of the guards and grabbing for his weapon. It was a suicidal act of defiance, one that ended precisely as she must have known it would. The second guard's spear flashed, a blur of blue energy that pierced her chest. Naria's emerald eyes found Alex's one last time, a ghost of a smile on her lips, before she crumpled to the ground. "Take them to the detention cells," the High Executor commanded, his obsidian eyes gleaming with cruel satisfaction. "The human's execution will be educational for our scientists. The remaining daughter of Krell will follow her sister soon enough." As the guards dragged them from the platform, Lorana's anguished scream echoed across the plaza. Her blue skin had paled to an ashen hue, her silver-blue curls falling across her face as she struggled against her captors. "Nari! No!" She reached toward her sister's motionless form, but the guards yanked her away. Alex fought against his restraints, rage and grief burning through him. Nari's final glance, that ghost of a smile, was seared into his memory. She had sacrificed herself for them, and he couldn't let that sacrifice be in vain. They were halfway across the plaza when the first explosion rocked the fortress. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Confused shouts erupted from the crowd as a second blast followed, then a third. The fortress's alarm systems wailed to life, but instead of the expected warning klaxons, a garbled message played over the public address system. "What's happening?" one of the guards demanded, his grip on Alex loosening slightly as he looked toward the source of the explosions. The second guard shook his head. "Security breach in sectors 7 through 12. All defense systems are..." He never finished the sentence. The lights throughout the plaza flickered, then died, plunging the vast space into momentary darkness before emergency lighting sputtered to life. In that instant of confusion, Alex felt something press against his palm, small and metallic. He closed his fingers around it instinctively, recognizing Lorana's touch. "The northeast corridor," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the chaos. "Maintenance shaft Delta 9. She told you, remember?" Alex's mind raced back to the previous night, to whispered words between moments of passion. Nari had murmured something about a failsafe, a hidden protocol her father had established years ago. At the time, he'd thought it merely pillow talk. But now, the guards were distracted, trying to raise central command on their communicators. Alex caught Lorana's eye and nodded slightly. They moved in perfect synchronization, a testament to the connection they'd formed, driving their elbows into their respective guards' vulnerable midsections. The aliens doubled over, momentarily stunned. Alex twisted free of his loosened restraints and grabbed one of the energy spears, driving its butt end into the guard's temple. Beside him, Lorana had already dispatched her captor with surprising efficiency. "This way," she hissed, grabbing his hand and pulling him toward the edge of the plaza where panicked citizens were fleeing in all directions. They ran, using the chaos as cover, dodging through the crowd as more explosions rocked the fortress. The small device Lorana had passed to him was warm in his palm, some kind of transmitter, still active. "Nari!" Alex panted as they ducked into a service corridor. "She planned this?" Lorana's blue eyes glistened with unshed tears. She must have activated the device during the confrontation. Our father built a network of fail-safes throughout the fortress, dormant resistance protocols that could be triggered in an emergency. She knew she was going to sacrifice herself, Alex realized, the weight of it hitting him anew. It's our way, Lorana replied softly. The needs of many before the needs of one. She was always the better daughter. They navigated the labyrinthine corridors, avoiding patrols and using the continuing system malfunctions to their advantage. The transmitter in Alex's hand pulsed with increasing frequency as they approached their destination. Maintenance Shaft Delta 9 was hidden behind a thermal regulator panel, just as Nari had described. Inside, they found a narrow passage that led deep into the fortress's substructure. "Where does this lead?" Alex asked as they crawled through the cramped space. "To freedom if we're lucky," Lorana replied. "To death if we're not." They emerged into a small chamber filled with ancient technology, far older than the regime that currently occupied the fortress. At its center stood a circular platform surrounded by control panels covered in dust. "A teleportation array," Lorana explained, moving to the controls. "From before the regime, when our people still remembered how to build such things." "Will it work?" If Nari activated the full protocol, it should have power. Her blue fingers danced across the controls with practiced precision. "Our father made sure we knew how to operate it, just in case." As if in response to her touch, the platform hummed to life, a faint blue glow emanating from its surface. "It's working," she breathed, relief evident in her voice. "But we only have moments before the regime's systems come back online." Alex stepped toward the platform, then hesitated. "Where will it take us?" "To the Resistance's hidden sanctuary in the northern mountains." Lorana looked up from the controls, her sky-blue eyes meeting his. "Alex, I can't ask you to come with me. Your mission—" "My mission can wait," he interrupted. "I'm not leaving you." The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. In the soft blue glow of the ancient technology, Lorana's face reflected a mixture of grief and something else. Something that mirrored the feelings churning inside Alex's own chest. She crossed the chamber to stand before him, close enough that he could feel the coolness radiating from her blue skin. "My sister died so we could live," she said softly. "But I don't want to just survive, Alex. I want to live." Her hand reached up to touch his face, tracing the contours of his jaw with gentle fingers. In our culture, grief and desire are not separate emotions. They flow together, like tributaries of the same river. Alex understood. He felt it too. The desperate need to affirm life in the face of death, to forge connection when the universe seemed determined to sever all bonds. Their lips met in a kiss that tasted of salt and sorrow and something sweeter beneath. Unlike their night with Nari, which had been about discovery and curiosity, this was about need, raw and urgent. The platform beneath them pulsed with energy, the teleportation sequence beginning its final countdown. But for a few precious moments, they were lost in each other, finding solace and passion amid the chaos of their circumstances. When they finally broke apart, breathless, the chamber was bathed in pulsing blue light. "Together," Lorana whispered, her fingers intertwining with his. "Together," Alex agreed as the teleportation field enveloped them, whisking them away from the fortress and toward an uncertain future, one they would face side by side. The teleportation was unlike anything Alex had experienced, a sensation of being unmade and remade, atom by atom. When the blue light faded, they stood in a vast cavern deep within a mountain range. Bioluminescent fungi clung to the stone walls, bathing everything in an ethereal azure glow, reminiscent of Lorana's skin. "We made it," Lorana breathed, her fingers still intertwined with his. Around them, the resistance sanctuary hummed with activity. Dozens of aliens, all with varying hues of skin from deep forest green to pale turquoise, moved purposefully through the cavern system. Some tended to hydroponic gardens while others maintained equipment or trained in combat techniques. All paused to stare at the human in their midst. An older male with weathered blue-gray skin approached them, his eyes widening in recognition. "Lorana, daughter of Krell," he said, bowing slightly. "We received the activation signal, but feared the worst." His gaze shifted to Alex. "And you bring a human ally." "Commander Talon," Lorana acknowledged. "This is Alex Mercer. He tried to save us. Nari, her voice broke. Nari sacrificed herself so we could escape. Murmurs rippled through the gathered resistance fighters. Talon's expression hardened. Then the time has come, he said gravely. Follow me. They were led deeper into the cavern network, through winding tunnels that sloped steadily downward. Alex noticed the architecture changing, from rough-hewn passages to precisely carved corridors inlaid with metallic symbols he couldn't decipher. This is older than your civilization, he observed. Talon nodded. The ancients built this place long before our people evolved. General Krell discovered it during the early days of the Resistance. They emerged into a chamber that took Alex's breath away. A perfect hemisphere carved from the living rock, its walls covered in intricate circuitry that pulsed with faint light. At its center stood a pillar of what appeared to be liquid metal, constantly shifting and reforming, contained within an energy field. The Heart of Eternity, Talon announced, the ancients' ultimate weapon, and the real reason the regime hunted General Krell so relentlessly. Lorana approached the pillar, her blue fingers hovering just above the energy field. My father never told us about this. He wanted to protect you, Talon explained. Knowledge of the heart is a death sentence under regime law, but he always intended for his daughters to know the truth if something happened to him. What does it do? Alex asked, military training kicking in as he assessed the potential threat. It unmakes reality, Talon said simply. The ancients designed it as a last resort against an enemy long forgotten. One activation could wipe the regime from existence, along with everyone connected to it. Lorana's expression shifted, grief hardening into something more dangerous. Then we use it. For Nari, for my father. Lorana, Alex cautioned, stepping closer to her. Think about what you're saying. I have thought about it, she snapped, her blue eyes flashing. Every moment since I watched my sister die. The regime has taken everything from me, Alex. Everything. Not everything, he said softly, reaching for her hand. She allowed the contact but remained rigid, her gaze fixed on the shifting metal pillar. You don't understand what it's like to watch your world crumble piece by piece, to lose your family to tyrants. Actually, I do, Alex replied, memories of Earth's own bloody history surfacing. Humans have fought these battles too. We've faced our own tyrants, our own impossible choices. Talon cleared his throat. I'll leave you to discuss this privately. The activation sequence requires Krell bloodline authorization. Only Lorana can make this decision now. He bowed slightly and retreated from the chamber. Alone with the ancient weapon, Alex turned Lorana to face him. Her blue skin seemed to absorb the pulsing light from the walls, making her appear almost luminous. This isn't what Nari would want, he said gently. She gave her life so you could live, not so you could become a weapon of mass destruction. How do you know what she would want? Lorana demanded, tears welling in her eyes. Because I knew her, Alex replied. Maybe only briefly, but I knew her heart, just as I'm coming to know yours. The tension between them shifted, grief and desire intermingling once again. Lorana stepped closer, her cool hand coming to rest against his chest. When I'm with you, she whispered, I feel something besides the rage. Something I didn't think I could feel again after watching Nari die. Alex cupped her face, his thumb brushing away a tear that had escaped. Then hold on to that feeling. Don't let the rage consume you. Their lips met in a kiss that started gentle but quickly deepened, fueled by the emotional turmoil of the past days. Unlike their hurried embrace in the teleportation chamber, this was slower, more deliberate, an exploration rather than a desperate affirmation of life. They sank to the floor of the ancient chamber, the pulsing light from the walls casting moving shadows across their entwined forms. Their coupling was both an escape from grief and a celebration of survival, tender at times, fierce at others, but always with an undercurrent of something deeper forming between them. Afterward, they lay together on Alex's discarded t-shirt, Lorana's head resting on his chest as he traced patterns on her blue shoulder. Your heartbeat, she murmured. It's different from ours. Stronger. Humans evolved on a higher gravity world, Alex explained. We're built to endure. Lorana propped herself up on one elbow, studying his face with newfound curiosity. Is that why you're so stubborn? He chuckled. Probably. It's a defining human trait. Tell me about Earth, she requested. About your home. As Alex described his planet, the vast oceans, the varied landscapes, the diversity of cultures, he watched something change in Lorana's expression. The hard edge of vengeance softened, replaced by wonder and perhaps hope. "It sounds beautiful," she said when he finished. "A world worth protecting." "So is yours," Alex replied. "But not like this." He gestured toward the heart of eternity. "Not with genocide." Lorana was silent for a long moment, her fingers absently tracing the contours of his chest. Finally, she nodded. "There must be another way," she agreed. "A way that honors Nari's sacrifice without becoming what we hate." Alex kissed her forehead, relief washing through him. "We'll find it together." As they dressed and prepared to rejoin the resistance fighters, neither noticed the subtle change in the heart of eternity. How the liquid metal had begun to pulse in rhythm with their shared heartbeats, as if awakening to a possibility its ancient creators had never anticipated. 3 days passed in the Resistance Sanctuary, days filled with strategy sessions, combat training, and stolen moments of intimacy between Alex and Lorana. Their connection deepened with each passing hour, transcending their biological differences and the circumstances that had brought them together. On the morning of the 4th day, Alex woke to find Lorana already dressed and studying a holographic map of the regime's fortress. "You're up early," he observed, admiring how the bioluminescent light played across her blue skin. She smiled, the expression transforming her face in a way that still made his heart skip. "Commander Talon believes the regime is regrouping. We need to prepare for their counterattack." Alex rose and moved behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. She leaned back against his chest with a contented sigh. "I never expected this," she confessed, turning in his embrace to face him. "When Nari died, I thought I'd never feel anything but rage again." "Humans have a saying," Alex replied, brushing a silver-blue curl from her face. "The heart is stronger than we know." Their lips met in a tender kiss that promised to deepen when a sudden commotion erupted from the main cavern. They broke apart, instantly alert. "Perimeter breach!" a voice shouted. "Unknown craft approaching!" Alex's blood ran cold. "The regime—" "Impossible," Lorana said, already moving toward the exit. "Our sensors would have detected them long before they reached the mountains." They raced through the tunnels to find the resistance fighters mobilizing, weapons at the ready. Commander Talon stood at the cavern entrance, studying a tactical display. "Not regime design," he reported as they approached. "The craft is smaller, more advanced, and it's broadcasting on frequencies we've never encountered." A chill ran down Alex's spine. "Let me see that frequency." Talon adjusted the display, and Alex's suspicions were confirmed. The approaching craft was broadcasting on an Earth military channel, one used exclusively by Special Forces extraction teams. "They're human," he said, his voice tight. "My people?" Lorana's eyes widened. "You called for reinforcements?" "No," Alex replied, "but I've been out of contact for days. Standard protocol would be to send a rescue team." The implications hung heavy in the air between them. Earth forces arriving here, discovering the heart of eternity. "We need to intercept them before they reach the sanctuary," Alex decided. "I'll go alone. They'll be less likely to react defensively to one of their own." Lorana shook her head firmly. "I'm coming with you." "Lorana, this is my world, Alex," she interrupted. "And you are—" She hesitated, searching for the right word. "You are mine now. We face this together." The possessive declaration sent a rush of warmth through him, despite the tension of the moment. In the short time they'd known each other, they'd formed a bond that defied conventional understanding. Forged in danger, tempered by loss, and strengthened by their physical and emotional connection. "Together," he agreed. They took a small resistance skimmer to the coordinates where the Earth craft was projected to land. The journey through the mountain passes gave Alex time to prepare for what was coming. The inevitable clash between his duty to Earth and his feelings for Lorana. The Earth vessel was sleek and predatory, designed for stealth rather than diplomacy. It had landed in a small clearing among the twisted alien vegetation that covered the northern mountains. As Alex and Lorana approached, the craft's hatch opened to reveal 4 armored figures. Earth Special Forces, just as he'd suspected. "Commander Mercer," called a familiar voice. Major Diana Foster stepped forward, removing her helmet to reveal sharp features framed by close-cropped blonde hair. "Glad to see you're still breathing." "Major," Alex acknowledged, keeping his posture relaxed but alert. Wasn't expecting a rescue party. Foster's eyes flicked to Lorana, her expression hardening. Clearly, HQ lost contact with your team 3 days ago. The rest of your squad made it to the extraction point, but reported you'd been captured. Her gaze returned to Alex. They didn't mention you'd found company. The way she said it made Alex's jaw tighten. This is Lorana, daughter of General Krell. She saved my life. Foster nodded curtly. We can debrief on the way back. Our orders are to extract you immediately. There's been a development, Alex said carefully. The situation here is more complex than we initially understood. Meaning? Alex hesitated, weighing his words. The regime is in possession of technology that could pose a significant threat to Earth's security. Foster's expression shifted from skepticism to interest. What kind of technology? A weapon, Lorana interjected, her melodic voice carrying across the clearing. One my father died protecting from those who would misuse it. The other soldiers tensed at her words, hands moving subtly toward their weapons. Foster's eyes narrowed. Commander, she said, her voice dropping to a more official tone, I need to speak with you privately. Alex nodded to Lorana, who stepped back but remained watchful. He followed Foster a short distance from the others. What the hell is going on, Mercer? Foster demanded once they were out of earshot. You've gone native after less than a week? It's not like that, Alex replied, though he knew in some ways it was exactly like that. The weapon is real. It's called the Heart of Eternity, some kind of reality-altering technology left by an ancient civilization. Foster's expression shifted from annoyance to calculation. And this alien resistance has control of it? They're protecting it, Alex corrected. There's a difference. Not to HQ, there isn't. Foster ran a hand through her short hair. Look, you know how this works. Earth needs every advantage it can get with the Proxima Centauri situation heating up. If this weapon is as powerful as you suggest... It's not a conventional weapon, Alex interrupted. Using it would be tantamount to genocide. That's not our call to make, Foster replied. Our orders are to extract you and any actionable intelligence. If this Heart of Eternity qualifies, we're taking it, or at least enough data for our scientists to replicate it. Alex felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. This was exactly what he'd feared. Earth military seeing the heart as an asset rather than the existential threat it truly was. I can't let you do that, he said quietly. Foster's eyes hardened. That sounds dangerously close to insubordination, Commander. Maybe it is. Alex straightened, decision made. The heart stays here, under the protection of those who understand its dangers. And the alien, Foster nodded toward Lorana. Is she part of your decision too? Alex didn't hesitate. Yes. Foster studied him for a long moment, then sighed. You always were the idealistic one, Mercer. But this isn't a decision you get to make alone. She gestured toward the ship. HQ sent more than just an extraction team. Colonel Brenner is waiting on board, with orders directly from Central Command. The mention of Brenner sent a chill through Alex. The colonel was Earth's foremost expert in alien technology acquisition, by any means necessary. You have 5 minutes to say goodbye to your blue friend, Foster said, her voice softening slightly. Then we're all going to have a chat with the colonel. After that, she shrugged. We'll see where everyone's loyalties lie. As Foster walked back toward the ship, Alex turned to find Lorana already approaching, concern evident in her sky-blue eyes. They want the heart, she guessed, reading his expression. Alex nodded grimly. And they're not asking nicely. Colonel Brenner was exactly as Alex remembered him, tall and imposing with steel-gray hair and calculating eyes that missed nothing. He sat in the Earth vessel's command chair like a king on his throne, studying Alex and Lorana with clinical detachment. Commander Mercer, he acknowledged. Major Foster tells me you've gone native. With respect, Colonel, Alex replied, standing at parade rest. I've discovered an opportunity for Earth that's more valuable than any weapon. Brenner raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. An alliance, Alex said, between Earth and the Resistance, against a common enemy. The regime has shown no hostile intent toward Earth, Brenner countered. Not yet, Alex agreed, but they're expanding aggressively. Our outer colonies will be in their path within 5 years. Lorana stepped forward, her blue skin luminescent under the ship's harsh lighting. My father believed that cooperation between species was the only path to lasting peace. The regime rejected that vision, but perhaps Earth will not. Brenner studied her with newfound interest. In this heart of eternity, Major Foster says it's a weapon of unprecedented power. It is, Alex confirmed, which is why it can't fall into anyone's hands, not the regimes, not the resistances, and not Earth's. Its power is too great. You're asking me to walk away from a strategic asset, Commander. I'm asking you to consider a greater asset, an alliance that gives Earth a foothold in this sector without risking interstellar war. Alex leaned forward. Colonel, you know Earth can't afford another conflict, not with the Proxima situation. A tense silence filled the ship's cabin. Alex could feel Lorana's anxiety beside him, though she maintained perfect composure. Finally, Brenner nodded. I want to meet with the Resistance leadership. No commitments, just talks. That's all we're asking, Alex replied, relief washing through him. As they prepared to return to the sanctuary, Brenner pulled Alex aside. This blue woman, she's clouding your judgment? Alex met his superior's gaze steadily. She's clarifying it, sir. Brenner's mouth twitched in what might have been the ghost of a smile. Wouldn't be the first time a human male found himself diplomatically entangled. Just remember where your loyalties lie, Commander. Always to peace, sir, Alex replied. That hasn't changed. The meeting between Earth's representatives and the Resistance leadership was tense at first. Commander Talon viewed the humans with suspicion, while Colonel Brenner's team assessed the alien sanctuary with barely concealed strategic interest. But as hours stretched into days, common ground emerged. Earth needed allies against the expanding Proxima Centauri threat. The Resistance needed technology and support to overthrow the regime. Neither wanted the heart of eternity activated. The risks were too great. On the third day of negotiations, as Alex and Lorana took a rare moment alone in a quiet corner of the sanctuary, she pressed her cool forehead against his. Your people are remarkable, she murmured. So young as a spacefaring species, yet so adaptable. Alex smiled, pulling her closer. It's our greatest strength. Humans can adjust to almost anything, even falling in love with beautiful blue aliens. Lorana's eyes widened. Love? Yes, Alex said simply. I love you, Lorana. I think I have since that first night in the fortress, when you and Nari... He trailed off, not wanting to reopen that wound. But Lorana smiled, a bittersweet expression. Nari would be pleased. She always said I was too serious, too focused on duty. She would have approved of you. Of us. Their lips met in a tender kiss that quickly deepened, hands exploring familiar territory with renewed purpose. The sanctuary's bioluminescent lighting cast a gentle glow over their entwined forms as they reaffirmed their connection, finding in each other the peace that had eluded their worlds for so long. Later, as they lay together in the small alcove that had become their private sanctuary, Lorana traced the contours of Alex's face with delicate blue fingers. What happens when the alliance is formalized, she asked. Will you return to Earth? The question had been weighing on Alex's mind. I've been thinking about that. Colonel Brenner mentioned they'll need a liaison officer, someone who understands both cultures. Lorana's eyes lit up. You? Us, Alex corrected. If you're willing. We could split our time between worlds. The joy in her expression was answer enough, but her enthusiastic embrace left no doubt. Their bodies moved together once more, a dance they had perfected over their time together, finding in each other the perfect complement despite their different biologies. 1 week later, the alliance was officially established. Earth would provide technology and training to the Resistance. In return, they would gain access to the sector's resources and a buffer against regime expansion. The heart of eternity would remain under joint protection, studied but never activated. As the Earth delegation prepared to depart with the news, Colonel Brenner approached Alex and Lorana, who stood hand in hand near the sanctuary entrance. Your request for the liaison position has been approved, Commander, he said formally, with a promotion to Major. Earth Command believes your unique perspective will be valuable. Thank you, sir, Alex replied. Brenner's gaze shifted to Lorana. The Resistance leadership has agreed to establish an embassy on Earth. They've requested you as their ambassador, daughter of Krell. Lorana's grip on Alex's hand tightened. I would be honored. Good, Brenner nodded. Because frankly, the way you two look at each other, I doubt either of you would accept being stationed on different planets. After the Earth delegation departed, Alex and Lorana stood at the entrance to the sanctuary, looking out over the alien landscape that had brought them together. I never imagined this outcome when I was standing in that plaza, Lorana said softly. When the High Executor forced you to choose between Nari and me? I couldn't choose then, Alex replied. And I'm grateful every day that I never had to. Nari chose for you, Lorana reminded him. She saved us both. And now we honor her sacrifice by building something better. Alex pulled Lorana into his arms, not just for us, but for both our worlds. In the distance, the twin suns of Lorana's world began to set, casting long shadows across the mountain range. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. The regime would not accept the alliance quietly, and there would be resistance from both sides to the unprecedented cooperation between species. But tonight belonged to them, a human man and an alien woman who had found in each other something that transcended their biological differences. Something worth fighting for, something worth living for. I love you, Lorana whispered in his ear, the words still new and precious between them. I love you too, Alex replied, sealing the promise with a kiss as the alien stars began to appear in the darkening sky above them. 6 months later, as Earth's first official embassy opened on the newly liberated capital of Lorana's homeworld, Alex stood beside her on the balcony overlooking the central plaza, the same plaza where he had once faced an impossible choice. The regime had fallen more quickly than anyone anticipated. With Earth's military technology and the Resistance's knowledge of the planet, the High Executor's forces had crumbled within weeks. He now awaited trial for his crimes, while a provisional government led by Commander Talon worked to rebuild what the regime had destroyed. What are you thinking about? Lorana asked, her blue hand finding his. Alex smiled. About choices. About how sometimes the hardest ones lead to the best outcomes. She followed his gaze to the memorial that now stood in the center of the plaza, a statue of Nari, her arms outstretched in a gesture of protection and sacrifice. She would have loved this, Lorana said softly, seeing our worlds united. She made it possible, Alex replied. Her choice gave us ours. As the citizens of both worlds mingled below them, celebrating the new alliance, Alex pulled Lorana close, grateful for the impossible choice that had led him to the most possible love he could imagine.